Caroline from CarolineVencil.com here today with an answer to a question that I keep getting, which is, what is the best blog host to use? I have some thoughts, and you're going to want to watch this video. If you're a brand new blogger, don't stress out. Nobody's going to be telling you here to go and get into a ton of debt to get blog hosting. That's not what we're about here at all. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. So I'm going to share with you what I used in the very beginning back in 2015 when I first started my blog, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and what I use now. So let's go ahead and see it. For my blog, what is the best host to use for the site? I just started, so I don't have a lot of traffic, and I don't want to spend a whole lot if I can avoid it. Okay, so let's talk about some of my personal favorite things that you can do or hosting sites that you can use. So when you're first starting out, I do recommend something on the cheaper end like Bluehost or SiteGround. Yes, I am an affiliate for both of them, but yes, I've used Bluehost. I have not used SiteGround, but I do know that it's comparable in price to Bluehost. So if you do not have a ton of traffic and are just looking at like getting started, getting your feet underneath of you, or getting your feet wet, is that the right turn of phrase? And like just trying things out, I would 100% look into starting with Bluehost. It's $3 a month, and you're paying, I think that it winds up being about $100 for the whole year after like fees and stuff. So, or like fees, like add-ons and such. It is not something that is going to break the bank. It's not something that you're going to need to take a second mortgage out on your house to afford. And it's the same thing with SiteGround. They're both pretty reasonable, especially if you're not talking about having a ton of traffic. Once you get a ton of traffic, once you start to kind of get a feel for it, and you know that you're going to be getting maybe tens of thousands of page views, hundreds of thousands of page views in a month, then you're going to want to look into something better. Both Bluehost and SiteGround and kind of everything under that umbrella of like that starter hosting, they have their limits. They just do. I think that Bluehost, their basic plan, that was the one that I was on. And the only time that I ever started having trouble with them was once I got over 100,000 page views, and I wasn't paying attention because my plan was only for, I think that it was supposed to be up to 30,000 page views, and I went up to 100,000. So that was when I started having trouble. And that was when I moved over to Big Scoots. I didn't go with the Bluehost devoted server. I went with Big Scoots, completely separate. And that's something else to take in mind is with, like, they'll talk about all of these sites, whatever hosting site you're talking about, will try to upsell you. They will try to say that this is the most popular plan. They will try to say that you need X number of RAM or storage or whatever to X, Y, and Z. Like, they want to get more of your money. When you're first starting out, you do not need to have a dedicated server. So knock that off. As in, like, you don't need it. Don't worry about it. Don't like feel like you need to have that in order to be official. You don't. You just don't. Start off and keep your budget in mind and just start. That's the big thing. Once you've started to do all the things, that's when you can go over to Big Scoots. Big Scoots, their plan that I was on for a long time, I think that it's $13 a month right now, and that's on a shared server. That means that I share my website data on a server with a bunch of other people. And that's fine with me when I'm still at about 125,000 page views right now, give or take. It's not like it's going to be the end of the world to share it with somebody if you have to save money. So then pretty recently, I'm still with Big Scoots. I upgraded to a dedicated server, and I can't remember how much I pay. I think that it's $40 a month. I could be wrong. But it's definitely a lot less than having to figure it all out on my own. I know that there are some like dedicated servers that are like more than $100 a month. At that point, though, you're talking about having a huge website where it would be something along the lines of, and not Amazon necessarily. But yeah, that is something to keep in mind is like you don't need that when you're first starting out. You can always leave Bluehost or SiteGround or Big Scoots in the middle of like a year or whatever it is and say, this isn't working out. I'd like a prorated refund. And they will do that. There's kind of very little like, not to lose necessarily, but like don't get into trouble when you're just starting out by feeling like you have to do what the big people are doing in order to succeed. Do not do that at all. If you can avoid it, stick with the lower level plans. Save yourself some money on the hosting so that you can spend it elsewhere to grow your business in a much more lucrative way. So yeah, that's my whole spiel about the best blog hosting platforms. It's worth mentioning, I think that it's only 2 days that were ever down with Big Scoots. But they were back to back, and it was because there was they had a shared server that had problems. But they rectified that situation pretty quickly, and they're very, very communicative if there is a problem. They're very communicative. They're very helpful. They do site storage. Is that right? Backups. That's the word I have not had enough coffee today. I apologize. But yeah, that's just, don't stretch yourself too thin over something like hosting. That's my biggest thing. Don't do that part. All right, guys, I hope that you learned a lot from that video. Remember to leave any questions in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more updates every single day. And check out the link in the description below. There's a bunch of them in there that are going to help you with your blogging, with your design, with everything. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.